Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. We're continuing our reading of Sahih al Bukhari, Volume 1. We're in the Book of the Times of As-Salah, Chapter 3. Let's begin. Bismillah. To give the bayah pledge for Iqama As-Salah, the offering of As-Salah, the prayers. Narrated Jarir bin Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him. I gave the bayah pledge to Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, for Iqama As-Salah, to pay zakah regularly and to be sincere and true to every Muslim, i.e., to order them for al-maruf, i.e., Islamic monotheism, and all that Islam orders one to do, and to forbid them from al-munkar, i.e., disbelief, polytheism, and all kinds, and all that Islam has forbidden. Oh, okay, that's what the munkar means. I hear people mockingly say munkar, munkar, and now I know what it means. Okay, so Islam orders one to forbid people from doing munkar. And so munkar, forbidden things, to help them and to be merciful and kind to them. Okay, so you give the pledge to do your prayers, do zakah, to be sincere and true to every Muslim, to not do munkar things, and to be merciful and to be kind. Nice. Chapter 4. As-Salah, the prayer, is expiation of sins. Narrated Shaqiq that he had heard Hudayfa saying, once we were sitting with Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, and he said, who amongst you remembers the statement of Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, about the al-fitna, trial and affliction? I said, I know it is as the Prophet, peace be upon him, has said it. Umar said, no doubt you are bold. I said, the al-fitna, caused for a man by his wife, his money, children, and neighbor, is expiated by his as-salah, the prayers. Some fasts, charity, and by enjoining al-maruf, Islamic monotheism and all that Allah has ordained, and forbidding al-munkar, disbelief, polytheism, and all that Allah has forbidden. Okay, so maruf and munkar appear to be the opposite of each other. Umar said, I did not mean that, but I asked about the al-fitna, which will spread like the waves of the sea. Hudayfa, said, O leader of the faithful believers, you need not be afraid of it, as there is a closed door between you and it. Umar asked, will the door be broken or opened? I replied, it will be broken. Umar said, then it will never be closed again. I was asked whether Umar knew that door. I replied that he knew it as one who knows there will be night before tomorrow morning. I have narrated a hadith that is free from any misstatement. The sub-narrator added that they deputed Masruq to ask Hudayfa about the door. Hudayfa said the door was Umar himself. Oh, look at that, that's cool. Okay, Maruf, Islamic monotheism, all that Allah has ordained. Al-munkar is disbelief, polytheism, all that Allah has forbidden. Narrated Ibn Masud, may Allah be pleased with him. A man kissed a woman unlawfully, and then went to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and informed him. So Allah revealed, and perform as-salah, Iqama as-salah, at the two ends of the day, and in some hours of the night, i.e. the 5 compulsory salah prayers. Verily, the good deeds remove the evil deeds, i.e. small sins. V11, 114. So you see how Allah is merciful, because when He commands you to pray, not only do you get the sweetness of worship, but you get nearness to Allah and you get sins forgiven. The man asked Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, "Is this instruction for me only?" He said, "It is for all those of my followers who encounter a similar situation." So he did a bad thing by kissing a woman he wasn't allowed to, and him doing his prayers can help expiate some of that evil deed that he did. May Allah protect us from doing such things. Chapter 5. Superiority of offering as-salah, the prayer, at the stated times. Narrated Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him, I asked the Prophet, peace be upon him, which deed is the dearest to Allah? He replied, to perform the daily compulsory salah prayers at their early stated fixed times. I asked, what is the next in goodness? He replied, to be good and dutiful to your parents. MashaAllah. Yes. I again asked, what is the next in goodness? He replied, to participate in jihad, religious fighting in Allah's cause. Abdullah added, these were told by Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, and if I had asked more, the Prophet, peace be upon him, would have told me more. So here you see something exemplary. Doing your salah prayers, it shows submission, it's humility. You're literally putting your head on this ground. For a really arrogant, prideful, chest-puffing person, they're like, no. Look how some people pray, only standing up, very rigid. Some get on their knees, some do their like, it's very different the way in which people pray. We stand, we bend, we prostrate, we sit, and we have like this whole rotation when you look at it. It's very fascinating. And when you operate as a mom, with like, hey, I gotta do this around prayer time. Okay, Maghrib's coming here. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. You network and you schedule your life and you have a good structure. You're not just a leaf blowing in the wind going like, okay, today we're gonna do this, and like, it's different. You have your framework, and this provides you with a good structure and routine that can actually make you feel quite calm. So I understand the prayers part. Now, being dutiful to your parents. It's getting hard, the preteen era. I'm learning it, and there's a natural, they grow out of that cute elementary school phase, and I can see why parents really suffer in the teenage years. You know, I was a fitna as a teen in some regards. Not totally, but you know, you think you know everything when you don't. And it's hard. And duty, doing chores, helping around the house, doing your homework, not talking back, making your bed, whatever it is that you want from your children. For them to be dutiful, to be respectful, to pull their weight in the team, as they say, pull their weight in the tribe, is important. Not to be a conceited, selfish prat, you know. May Allah protect us and give us good pious children. So here, treat your parents well, man. Mamas, they stress them. Dads, they don't deserve to come home to a rebellious teenage son who gives them chest pains. And then when it comes to jihad, you can see that our men have to have boldness and bravery, and that also makes them more sexually attractive. We have a problem now with very effeminate, pudgy, soft men, and the fact that a man who is 50 years old would be still required, I think, right, to protect the Muslims from harm and to have the ability to defend the believers' lives and put his life on the line, shows you what kind of patriarchal system that is and how it protects the women and children and the elderly and the faith. It's remarkable to defend the faith, to have bravery, to have the physical strength Think about that. Really examine what it calls men to be. In atheism, you don't have that. It's, sit down, be this kind of TJ Kirk weirdo neckbeard, or be an arrogant, wine-drinking Sam Harris, or... Okay, I should be careful, but... Let's be careful. Islam makes men stronger, makes them faster, makes them more capable, more focused, more in tune with the masculine energy of their fitrah. When men feel lost and they're just drinking beer, watching the game, smoking pot, and eating flaming hot Cheetos and not really doing much with their life, this isn't who they are. And their sperm counts are becoming lower, they're becoming trans, they're doing self-harm, they don't have that natural urge for strength, honor, glory, and virtue. And when you are a servant of the Most High, what can be better than that? But men are being turned into eunuchs now. And male strength is cut. And this means that a lot of good men will think that by making themselves neutered, they'll be accepted. But evil never neuters itself. It only spreads. And so when you cut down a warrior culture, or the urge for men to protect women and children and to fight against evil, this only makes men cowardly, and wicked men never have that type of fear because they are dark and polluted. You have to come when you're called and know when it's right and when it's wrong and when it's fake, when it's a trap, and when the time is right. So not only are the men the caretakers of women, but they also have a duty to have this military capacity, and also to struggle with their lust and urges. Islam fortifies men. This is why it's very feared, because a man who can control his sexual desires, who stays sober, doesn't use intoxicant, doesn't take on debt, will answer the call for jihad when necessary in the right context, when it's real and not when it's fake, and takes care of his women, and is able to have more than one wife, so he's able to help marry a woman so she doesn't have to turn to prostitution or whatever, or depend upon the state, which expands the excessive taxation. You can see how, wow, that's a lot. So a lot of fake conservatives fear Muslim men, not because they actually want traditionalism, it's because they actually want hedonism to stay the true force within a society. They want their beer, their porn, and their drugs. And they just want to think about Jesus on Sundays, on Easter, and Christmas. That's enough for them. That's what they want. And they want to listen to Creed and put Joel Osteen on, or T.D. Jakes, who hung out with P. Diddy. But I digress. Chapter 6. The 5 Salah prayers, or expiations of sins. So if someone asks you, what's the benefit of prayer? You get nearness to Allah, okay? You get more the sweetness of faith, and you get expiations of sins. Narrated Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him. I heard Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, saying, if there was a river at the door of any one of you, and he took a bath in it 5 times a day, would you notice any dirt on him? They said, not a trace of dirt would be left. The Prophet, peace be upon him, added, that is the example of the 5 daily compulsory salah prayers, with which Allah blots out, annuls evil deeds. Perfect. And we've heard this hadith before. And think about how when you do wudu 5 times, It's like you're washing off quite a bit of dust and germs. And that refreshing feeling as well. And access to water. And they'd be very thankful, very grateful. Chapter 7. Not offering as-salah, the prayer, as it is stated, fixed time. Narrated Galen, Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said, I do not find nowadays things as it were practiced at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Somebody said, have you not done in as-salah prayer what you have done? Have you not done in the prayer what you have done? Some he saw Bila or something. Narrated As-Suri that he visited Anas bin Malik at Damascus and found him weeping, and asked him why he was weeping. He replied, I do not know anything which I used to know during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, except as-salah, the prayer, and this salah too is lost, not offered as it should be. You can see how dedicated he was, very passionate. Anas bin Malik. So when people see others like weeping for something spiritual, if you got that level of iman that you really care, natural tears are going to come out. MashaAllah. Chapter 8. A person in salah prayer is speaking in private to his Lord, Allah Azza wa Jal. Narrated Anas, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, whenever one of you offers salah prayer, he is speaking in private to his Lord. So, he should not spit on his right, but under his left foot. Qatada said, he should not spit in front of him, but on his left or under his feet. And Shuba said, he should not spit in front of him, nor on his right, but on his left or under his foot. Anas said, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, he should neither spit in the direction of his Qibla, nor on his right, but on his left, or under his foot. Yeah, I remember this one from a couple readings back. So, the right side seems to be protected. When you want to put your shoes on, you start with the right. When you go in the bathroom, you go in with your left, you go out with your right. And starting with the right, when you can, sleep on your right, even though it can hurt my shoulder. If I sleep too much on my right, it hurt my shoulder. And you can lay on your back, and even though it's not all the time sleeping on your stomach, but sometimes it can feel good when you have a stomach ache, in my opinion, or some extreme, like you have a heating pad on your back and you just want to put it on, and you want to hug your pillow or something. So I guess it depends, really, right? Perfect, fam. Okay, narrated Anas, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, do the prostration properly, and do not put your forearms flat with elbows touching the ground like a dog. And if you want to spit, do not spit in front nor on the right. For the person in salah prayer is speaking in private to his Lord, Allah Azza wa Jal. So two things that we've known: not putting the elbow down like the camel, like the dog, and elbows out, you know, because remember the hadith where people said when the Prophet peace be upon him was prostrating, they could see the whiteness of his armpits. So you can see how that was. So not flat, no weird Egyptian stuff going on here. And spitting, we're pretty much clear on that. MashaAllah. Okay, we'll pause here, fam. I hope you enjoyed. It was a good reading, and I like that we learn something each time we read this wonderful book. I hope it helps with your memorization. This series is one of a kind, going in order, word for word, giving you my perspective, telling you what it makes me think about, And subhanAllah, may Allah accept it and may you benefit from it. If you'd like to support my work, you can do so via the blog, which is www.subscribestar.com/MilahanArchive. Hope to see you there.